What's goody everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Go ahead, pull up a seat. Let's have a little chat, shall we? Gears of War is finally back after what seemed like a long ass time for some and an unexpected time for others. I mentioned in my Black Ops 6 video that we are getting a prequel to Gears of War called Gears of War E-Day, and I'm here to give the deets as well as my opinions on it. So without further ado, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to smash that sub button for the coalition. And let's get into it. Almost 2 weeks ago, Xbox came out with the biggest W they've had since the Xbox 360. I mean, these guys haven't been on a good run for a while now. They introduced to us a Gears of War title after years of hearing about the famously mentioned Marcus Phoenix collection that was supposed to replicate what Halo MCC did and bring the older games into a newer market. What we got instead is a prequel that dates 14 years before the events in Gears of War 1, and I couldn't be any goddamn happier seeing Dom's face on the screen and hearing Mad World play in the background. So Blackout, why wait 2 weeks to make a video about Gears? Well, that's a really good question. It's taken about that length of time for any meaningful details to break about the game. Cut me some slack, okay? I'm not an insider, but if they want to make me one, hey, hit me up. You can find my Linktree link in the pinned comment. Click that, go follow me on Twitter. My DMs are open for you. All right, so first things first, the story. On the Steam page, it says the following. 14 years before Gears of War, war heroes Marcus Phoenix and Dom Santiago return home to face a new nightmare, the Locust Horde. These subterranean monsters, grotesque and relentless, erupt from below, laying siege on humanity itself. Now, some people may be curious as to why they didn't bounce off the story from Gears 5 and go straight into Gears 6 like what a lot of people expected, but brand director Nicole Fawcett had this to say about it. We're not retreating from that storyline in any way. But in this moment, we had an opportunity to write our next step, and this one just felt too good to miss. It makes me feel so damn good to hear this, because personally, I'm not too big of a fan on the newer storyline they're telling with James. I know we can't keep Marcus around forever, but James doesn't hit the same way Marcus did when we first got introduced to him. I was just missing Marcus being a cynical, sometimes arrogant prick that seemed to have a response to anything and everything going on. Another thing I was missing was the horror aspect of Gears. Because for those that don't remember, this series had a dark, gritty horror essence about it that seemingly got lost over time. I mean, y'all remember the very first trailer, right? Like, come on. Compare that to what we got today, it's just a complete night and day difference. Well, according to an article from Fandom Wire, they say that while veteran players know how the Locust operate, the studio will do everything it can to throw our protagonist off. The game will show how deadly these enemies are, as well as their emergence from the ground will be something completely unexpected. Now, one thing I would love to see is an improvement on the Locust behavior, because depending on the difficulty you set them to in the other Gears games, the dumb bastards were either a court low on blood getting to their brain, or they were descendants of Magnus Carlsen. I don't know what kind of tools UE5 has for getting AI to do certain things. Maybe my devs can answer that in the comments below, but I would see the Locust more as a threat if they were able to mimic player behavior better than ever before. Like, seeing a Locust throw a smoke bomb and then full on sprint to you with a shotgun in hand ready to turn your ass into human gumbo would be downright horrifying. Second thing, let's talk about the multiplayer, because I recently started dabbling with it again in Gears 5, and I don't mean to brag, but I'm better than your average trash can, okay? Like, I'm not saying I'm Pro League or Gold or Silver. I'm gonna just say I'm auditioning for the last spot in the lowest rank of Bronze, okay? You probably can't tell based off the gameplay, but rest assured, I'm doing more than just cooking, my friends. I'm thawing out the competition. Dumbass jokes aside, there are two things confirmed so far. We're getting a PvP experience that allegedly is taking us back to the roots of Gears of War, as well as a co-op campaign. And it's about fucking time a company implemented co-op campaign into their games, because it's just like whatever experience would be great with two people is seemingly shrunk down to just one person. I get that not all games need a co-op campaign, just like how every game doesn't need a battle royale, but it's just nice to see this become a thing. And I know that couch co-op is sort of a thing that's dying out slowly over time, but just having the ability to play through a campaign with a friend no matter where you're at, It's the basic necessity. Now, what would be even better is if the co-op campaign allowed up to 4 players, where the first 2 would be Marcus and Dom, while the final 2 would just be basic soldiers or other characters featured in the story. I can see this being strictly a 2-person campaign though, just because the main focus are going to be Marcus and Dom. Also, Steam Deck compatibility in offline mode would be amazing as well. Okay, that's not anything gameplay specific, but something I just thought I'd advocate for regardless. Final thing I want to talk about here is where this game is going to be played at. One thing I can confirm, if these articles are trustworthy enough, which I believe they are, is that it's going to be on Game Pass day 1 on both Xbox and PC sometime in 2025. You can also buy it on Steam if you don't want to sign up for a membership. That itself is a pretty good damn deal, and I love how Microsoft is doing this for their newer titles. But there's a bigger conversation I see a lot of people have when it comes to that, and it normally walks the line of, this is just Microsoft taking money from studios and stuff. I don't know much about that, but what I do know is if you want to support the game, just buy it. You know, don't bother with Game Pass unless you want to get a free trial of Game Pass, play the game and see if it's worth it, and then eventually buy it if you want to. One little thing that I just want to peck at here are the rumors that the series is going to come over to PlayStation, and if I remember correctly, these rumors popped up literally around the same time that there was speculation that Microsoft was working on a copy of Halo Combat Evolved for the PlayStation 5. Listen, I think it would be awesome to see Gears of War be available to more people and then have the potential for crossplay. Maybe they can do what XDefiant did and implement cross input so console players can't gripe about M&K versus controller. But I doubt this is going to get done in time for the launch, and if it does, that's going to be an astronomical sized W for Microsoft. But for my final thoughts, I've been playing Gears since the first game came out all the way back in 2006. And even though I don't mention it on the channel, I've always wanted to make a video talking about the franchise and how good it was. And now I actually have a reason to do so. You know, a lot of people aren't a fan of third-person shooters because of the whole peeker's advantage thing, but I would argue that in Gears, all everyone wants to do is just bum rush the map with the Gnasher and turn other players into smoothies. I mean, you do get those people that will camp behind the wall and use the camera to their advantage, but that's just going to be in every third-person shooter. Kind of one of those things where if you don't like it, maybe it's just not your cup of tea. What I hope for in this prequel though is that when they say they're returning to their roots, they stick to that as closely as possible. We all hear companies say, oh, we're returning back to our roots, and it just doesn't feel like they've done much of anything. It feels like that maybe they took like one step back, but they're not any closer to their roots than what they were saying. You know, give us the things that made the older Gears great while still finding ways to appease the new players. Now, for the multiplayer side, don't be surprised if there are going to be microtransactions in the form of cosmetics or a battle pass, okay? To me, that's fine as long as you can keep them cosmetic and keep them affordable while also not going off the path. It got a little too damn ridiculous in Gears 5 when we got Dave Bautista, the Terminator, and the goddamn New Day from WWE in Gears. It's fine though because we got Zombie Carmine, which is the only skin I will use in this game to this day. All in all, I'm excited to play this game. I'm excited to share more updates about Gears with you all, and I can't wait to see what other details get announced as time goes on. You know, I'm a huge proprietor on don't pre-order games until you see gameplay, or just don't pre-order them at all, but I'm not gonna lie, I might pre-order this one. I'm not gonna lie. But now I turn the mic to you. Let me know down below what you think about Gears of War E-Day. And while you're down there, be sure to smash that like button and curb stomp that sub button also YouTube can show you my content free of charge. If you're wanting to support me just a little bit more for just 99 cents a month, you can gain access to these videos before anyone else, get your name on the screen at the end of it, and much more. Shout out to the current members of the channel. Y'all are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. This is Sir Blackout signing out to go play more Gears multiplayer because honestly, it's just way too much damn fun. Later.